Akhmedov and Indjic dive into the Benoni defense classical variation traditional variation in this thrilling Baku Open 2025 group around 3 encounter. On d4. Knight f6. On c4. On c5. On d5. On g6. Knight c3. Bishop g7. On e4. On d6. Bishop e2. On e6. Knight f3. On takes d5. This position is typical of Benoni defense classical variation traditional variation. On takes d5. Bishop g4. Knight d2. Akhmedov is preparing to play. Bishop takes g4. Knight takes g4. Queen takes g4 and take decisive advantage. Bishop takes e2 played by Indjic. Queen takes e2. Knight bd7. On a4. King castled kingside. King castled kingside. Rook e8. Knight c4. Threatening knight takes d6. Knight b6 played by Indjic. Indjic is aiming to play. Knight takes d5. Knight takes d5. Knight takes d5 and seizes the initiative. Knight takes b6 played by Akhmedov. Queen takes b6. On a5. Threatening pawn takes b6. Queen a6 played by Indjic. Indjic might go for. Queen takes e2. Knight takes e2. Rook takes e4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Rook e1 played by Akhmedov. On c4 think carefully what is the best move for Akhmedov. Rook a4 is a strong choice, since Rook ac8. On g3. Knight d7. Bishop f4. On f5. Rook b4 position is equal. Let's explore the main line. On c4 it is novelty move. Indjic wants to play. On b5. On f3. Knight d7. Bishop d2. Knight c5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Queen c2 slightly worse move played by Akhmedov. On b5. Knight a2. Queen takes a5. Bishop d2. Threatening bishop takes a5. Queen b6 played by Indjic. Knight b4. Knight g4. Threatening queen takes f2 check. Bishop f4 played by Akhmedov. Bishop d4. Rook e2. On a5. Threatening pawn takes b4. Knight c6 played by Akhmedov. Knight e5. Indjic is looking to play. Knight takes c6. Pawn takes c6. Bishop e5 and seizes the initiative. Bishop takes e5 played by Akhmedov. Bishop takes e5. On g3. On a4. King g2. Queen c5. On f4. Threatening pawn takes e5. Bishop g7 played by Indjic. Rook d1. On a3. Threatening pawn takes b2. On b4 played by Akhmedov. Pawn takes b3. Queen takes b3. Rook a4. Indjic wants to play. Rook takes e4. Rook takes e4. Rook takes e4 and take decisive advantage. On e5 played by Akhmedov. Rook c4. Rook d3. Rook a8. Indjic is aiming to play. On a2. On e6. On promotes to queen at a1. On takes f7 check. King takes f7. Rook d1. Queen c3. Queen takes c3. Bishop takes c3 and gain a significant edge. Rook a2 played by Akhmedov. Rook c1. Threatening pawn takes e5. King h3 played by Akhmedov. Queen g1. Rook f3. Rook b1. Threatening rook takes b3. Queen c3 played by Akhmedov. On b4. Threatening pawn takes c3. Knight takes b4 played by Akhmedov. Rook b8. Think carefully what is the best move for Akhmedov. Knight c2 is a strong choice, since Rook 8 b3. Queen c8 check. Bishop f8. Knight takes a3. Still Akhmedov is losing. Let's analyze the main variation. Rook b8. Threatening rook takes b4. Knight d3. Slightly worse move played by Akhmedov. Rook 1 b3. Queen c7. Take a moment to spot the best move for Indjic. Queen d1 is logical continuation as Rook af2. On a2. On f5. Rook 3 b7. Queen takes d6. On promotes to queen at a1. Indjic have small advantage. Let's go to the main game. Threatening rook takes c3. Queen c7 played by Akhmedov. Queen b1 is an inaccurate played by Indjic. Indjic considers playing Queen d1. On e6. Queen takes f3. Queen takes f7 check. King h8. On e7. On h6 and gain a significant edge. On e6 played by Akhmedov. Threatening queen takes f7 check. On takes e6 played by Indjic. On takes e6. Queen takes a2. Knight c1. Akhmedov intends to play Rook takes b3. Queen takes b3. Knight takes b3 and establish a winning position. Rook 3 b7 played by Indjic. Queen takes b8 check. Rook takes b8. Knight takes a2. Bishop b2. Indjic is aiming to play Rook e8. Rook e3. King g7 and seize the initiative. Rook d3 played by Akhmedov. Rook b6. On g4. King g7. Indjic is preparing to play King f6. On f5. On takes f5. On takes f5. King takes f5 and establish a winning position. On f5 played by Akhmedov. King f6. Indjic intends to play on takes f5. On takes f5. King takes f5 and increase their advantage significantly. Rook e3 played by Akhmedov. Bishop e5. Stop here and find the strongest move for Akhmedov. On g5 check is the correct move because king takes f5. On e7, rook b8. Rook e8. Rook f3 check. Still Akhmedov is losing. Let's analyze the main game. Bishop e5. Indjic considers playing rook b2. On g5 check, king takes f5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight c3 slightly worse move played by Akhmedov. Akhmedov considers playing knight d5 check, king g7. Knight takes b6 and gain a significant edge. On a2 played by Indjic. On g5 check, king takes g5. Take a moment to spot the best move for Akhmedov. Knight takes a2 is a strong choice since rook b2. Rook takes e5. On takes e5. On e7. Rook b8. On takes g6. Still Akhmedov is losing. Let's go to the main line. King takes g5. Knight e4 check. Slightly worse move played by Akhmedov. King takes f5. On e7. Akhmedov is planning to play. On promotes to queen at e8. On promotes to queen at a1. Knight g3 check. King g5. Queen d8 check. King h6. Queen takes b6. Bishop d4. Knight f5 check and dominate the board. Rook b8 a masterful performance by Indjic.